Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So welcome to the first of 3 pre-recorded episodes for this week. Obviously, like I said, I am pre-recording episodes ahead of time just because my grandmother's in town as of this video going out. But anyways, if you didn't catch the last episode, we had another off-season trying to make sure our team is as good as possible while maintaining the cap space that we had in a way. So we did have to let go of a couple guys on our roster, but we do still have a pretty good looking team going into the 2039-40 season, which is kind of crazy that we're that far already. As you can see, this is what our lineup is looking like. We got Lassick, Wilm, and Del Rovere, so we are kind of reworking the top 6 a bit. We got Habscheid, Richter, and Hamelainen on that second line. And then the third line is probably one of the best third lines I've ever seen, but these guys are usually not on the third line, that being Lehman, Ahinen, and Weber. So we're kind of prioritizing the next movement of the team and giving the older guys who are probably going to be dropping off soon a little bit more ice time. As you can see, Lehman's already kind of dropping overall-wise, I think, a bit. And Ahinen is only a top 6 potential guy anyways. Weber is potentially leaving this team at the end of the season because he's a pending free agent. So it should be an interesting year for this team. Also, it's nice that we decided to give Israel Hartman an opportunity finally. So we'll see what he could do for our team. From a defensive standpoint, it's pretty much the same defensive core except for Hartnell is going to be jumping in. And we decided to let go of Sea-Doo because of the cap space situation. Also, Hudson Bursch will be in our blue line. So very excited to see what they can do there. And also, we do have Patrick Budens as our new backup because we did let go of Solis. Now, one thing that I'm probably going to do before we actually start simulating is sending Fragapane and Mangone down to the AHL and seeing if any former players are still in free agency that are defensemen, like Eric Wilson, for example, or something like that, because I'd rather use those guys as depth defensemen over Fragapane and Mangone. So we probably will end up trying to sign ourselves some former players as depth pieces. So that way we aren't scratching our younger guys and they aren't growing that way. But yeah, we have pretty good chemistry throughout our entire lineup, and yeah, just very excited to see what this team could do. We should be easily a playoff team, but the question really is, like it's been for the last few years, if we could be a playoff team, how long are we going to be it for? Because we've never been able to get out of the second round, which is quite crazy that it's been that long since we've even had a chance to get out of the second round. But for some reason, this team is completely cursed and has only gotten to round 2. Because if we go to Mauricio Wilm, who's been here since the get-go pretty much, he's only played 61 career playoff games, and every single year he's never played more than 13 playoff games, which is crazy. 71 points in 61 games, so he's been doing his part, but he's already 34 years old, and he's not gotten out in the second round, so hopefully we can get him in soon. He is a pending free agent in a few years, and I don't know if he'll be retired by then. If he's not, we will probably have to give him a ton more money, which means freeing up cap space in other places, because I think this guy needs to be here till the end, regardless if this team's doing good or not. So anyways, there's that. Let's take a look first at the free agent pool and see if there's any former guys we could bring in as depth defenders. We should still have some contract room. Yep, we have contract room, so let's see if we could find ourselves some depth pieces here that used to play for us. Yep, Eric Wilson is one. Normally Eric Wilson always is there, so I think this is him. Let me just double check. Yep, Eric Wilson, former 7th round pick. He's going to be a depth defenseman for this team, so we'll sign him to an $875 contract because we do have the cap space for him. And we'll probably sign ourselves a former depth forward as well if there's one out there. There's another depth defenseman, but they are listed as top 6. That's the only problem. Actually, I didn't even realize that. Wilson might complain about ice time. Same with McLaren if we bring them both in, but yeah, we'll bring them both in just to give us more depth in case of injury troubles. And that way we don't have to call up anybody important. Let's see, any forwards that we could bring in potentially. Trying to see. Don't really see anybody here so far, at least that I recognize. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any former players on the left wing or right wing side of things. What about left wing wise? It would be nice to get ourselves a former player that is a depth forward, just to give us that depth if we get those injuries, because sometimes those injuries could pile up, and I don't want to call up somebody that's going to just go back through waivers. I would rather have one of these guys get claimed instead, but they likely wouldn't if they're not getting signed to contracts yet. Yeah, not seeing really anybody on the left wing side of things. Is Kozlov still there? because we let him go in last episode as well. Was Jansevsky ours? We did have a Jansevsky. No, it's not that guy. I think it was in this series, or was it in my other series? It might have been my other series. I honestly don't even remember at this point. Too many prospects and names to remember. There's Kozlov. That's our guy, right? Yep, Andrei Kozlov will come back again as a depth piece, just so we don't have to scratch any good young players. Okay, so those are going to be our 3 signings in the start of the season. We are also going to go ahead, and what was the thing that I was going to do? Wasn't there something I was going to do? God damn, man, I can't even remember what it was now. I'm probably going to randomly just remember and then be like, damn, why did I do that? Oh yeah, see where our former players signed. That's what I wanted to do. And we'll also take a look at the new guys on our team, because I know you guys like seeing that type of thing. So if we go to the player search, where did Sidu sign? And there's also like Anderson. Trying to remember who else we let go of. Oh yeah, Solis, I guess. So we'll take a look at Anderson first, considering he's just not really much of anything. He's just like a 4th line guy. So this would be him, right? Is signing with the Minnesota Wild. Yep, Jesper Anderson listed as a 3rd line checking forward, just kind of crazy. And he's getting paid $2 million for a year. He might be the type of guy we're able to bring back quite easily if we really want to at some point, if he's a free agent again. But there he is. We'll take a look at Solis next, and then we'll take a look at Sidu. Sidu probably got paid a bunch of money. So Solis signed with the Arizona Coyotes on a 4-year deal at just under $6 million. So he got paid pretty good money, and he's likely going to be their starting goaltender. So shout out to Mark Solis getting an opportunity to be that starter. He wouldn't have gotten it with Burkov being in front of him here, I don't think, unless we let go of Burkov. But Sidu, where is the Sidu now? The Sidu's in Carolina on a massive 7 by $11.74 million contract. Yeah, I would not have paid him that much, I don't think. I get that he's a good shutdown defenseman, but that is a boatload of money and a boatload of term too. Like, that would have hurt us in terms of being able to bring back Will when his contract is end if we did that for Sidu. So I don't mind that we let go of those guys. Best of luck to them this season. And I think we are pretty much ready to go. Let me actually take a look at one thing for a second here, all expiring. I kind of want to offer Del Rivera an extension already, considering he's getting a big opportunity on that top line, and he might produce really well. Oh, if you go to 6 years, it drops off by quite a bit of money. So I guess we will have to give him a 6-year deal. Yeah, I think I'm going to sign him up, because I think I would prioritize him over Weber and stuff like that. But I could also wait to the offseason. But I could try the 85% trick here and get Del Rivera on a good deal. He's only 28 as well, so it's not like he's super old. But let's try and get him on an 85% deal, which would be a hair over $8 million, which is decent enough for me. And then, like I said, I don't know about the other guys who's going to come back and whatnot. We should be able to get him for $8,075, which is a good deal, I think, for what he brings. It's not much more than he's currently making. It's only like $8 million more. And yeah, let's take a look at our new players on our NHL roster and what they look like. There's only, I think, a couple new faces on the team. So there's like Hartnell and the 4th line guy, what is his name? Hartman. Too many H's on this team. Also Dodge, I guess, is a depth forward. And we will also make those adjustments to our lineup when we get our depth defenders in and stuff like that. So Israel Hartman looks like this. Pretty basic look. Okay. I don't mind the hairstyle as well. The hairstyle is kind of interesting. Any beard? No beard in the playoffs. But there's a closer look at his face. Kind of weird that his hair's that color, because usually, he must have had the like diet or something. I don't know. Usually, I don't think black guys have that kind of a hair color, unless you dye it. But that's interesting. Evan Dodge, we'll take a look at him. He's probably going to be our depth forward this season, and Kozlov will also be a depth forward in the NHL, likely. So then we have 2 depth forwards. So Evan Dodge looks pretty basic. He looks like an old man, though. He doesn't look like he's only like 24. Like, I don't know what's in the water. This guy's definitely aging quicker than he should be. He's like doing the Benjamin Button circle or something like that, you know, where you age and then you drop off in age and then you look like you're a young kid. Let's see. The other guys, oh yeah, Hartnell and Burrish is what we got to take a look at. And also our backup goaltender in Budins. Hopefully the Budins is good. So here is Hartnell. Long hair. Patchy facial hair. He's pretty damn tall. Like, this guy's a two-way defenseman. I think he looks like he's like 6'4" at least, right? Let's see, how tall is he? 6'4", 210, jeez. And then we have a shorter guy in Hudson Burrish. I'm hoping these young defenders could do relatively well in the team. So let's see. So this is Hudson Burrish. Pretty basic look. Nothing too special. No playoff beard as well for Mr. Burrish, number 14. And then we'll take a look here at our next player and final player to take a look at, Patrick Budins. When did we draft him even? 4th round, okay. So he's a pretty good steal. Patrick Budins, what are you looking like? Okay, kind of a cool look to him. Yeah, kind of like the hairstyle, kind of nice. And why is he wearing Washington Capitals pads, I just realized. What the heck? That's kind of weird. Because usually it defaults to just like the pads that they normally would use in black. Why is he wearing Washington Capitals pads? He wasn't even drafted by them. Is Burkhoff wearing other team gear or no? Because I thought he was just wearing black pads. Yeah, he is. So for some reason now, I guess because they added the Roll the Shell gear to create a player, that it sometimes randomizes goalies in having that. So Budins might be wearing Washington Capitals pads when he's out there for us, which is kind of weird. But it is what it is. Let me actually take a look at one thing last to do before we actually start simulating. I want to make sure Hartnell's getting some power play time if he is. Because it would be good if we could possibly get him in. I don't know if I could get him in, to be honest. And we might just keep it the same for now. Hartman will probably get power play time at some point, but we don't really still have that puck-moving defenseman, which kind of sucks. But let's begin the sim up here and see if we get those depth options in. So there is Wilson. Del Rivera accepts that 8-year extension, which is great. Kozlov, or not 8-year, 6-year extension, and the other guys accept. Let's go to roster moves here. I think at least that was an exception from Del Rivera, but I'll double check on that. Let me just make sure. Actually, it won't show the extension on this part. So let's just send down Fragapane and Mangone, because I don't want them to be scratched. Raymond's another guy that should be technically up here, but he's not going to be up here at the start of the year. So we call up Wilson, we'll call up McLaren as our depth pieces, and that way we have older guys as depth options instead of those younger guys, and then those younger guys could still get into the lineup over the random guys that the AI is signing me. Oh man, who do I scratch down here though is the question. Cracknell's 25 already. I guess I'd have to scratch Cracknell. But how old is Fragapane? 23. Yeah, Fragapane gets in instead of him, I guess. Because I can't scratch Stewart because he's young. So I guess we'll keep it like that. Sharov is also in the AHL, which is very weird, but it is what it is. And there's our depth options. Perfect. We are set up and ready to go. And now we can actually simulate and see what this team does. And yeah, hopefully we have a good run this year. Obviously, we should be, like I said, a playoff team during this regular season, but I'm just very skeptical about how long our playoff run is going to be for. Watch, now that I'm pre-recording a couple episodes in a row is when we're going to actually have good success. That'd be really weird. Okay, so preseason. We should have a pretty good preseason considering we have our full NHL team on paper. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're dominating the preseason, which is not really good for the regular season, but that's okay. We go 7-1, so that's nice. Leading us in points, Mauricio Wilmot with 14 points in 8 games. Okay. Let me take an updated look at our lines just to see if anybody actually was lower overall than it actually said, because I am curious on that. Hartman's actually only a 77, but that's okay. He should be getting a decent amount of ice time anyways, and maybe he could develop a little bit. And Hartnell's actually an 83. Wow. So shout out to Hartnell. He's going to be an exciting player this season. This is his rookie year. And then he's going to probably want to get paid big bucks or something like that. And we have Bursch, who's a 79. Defensive score looks actually not that bad on paper. Budins is only an 81. And then HL-wise, I'm pretty sure most of the players are their actual overalls. So, okay. Let me actually go to the contract situation. Let me see what Hartnell's trying to ask for after the season already. because I know he's an RFA for only like, yeah, one more season. Oh, wow. He wants to get paid a lot of money if you go 8 years. So he thinks he's going to become a really good defenseman at some point. Well, I guess we have to see first how he does this season. But I'm not willing to give him an 8-year extension at $6 million or something yet. Because I honestly have no idea how he's going to do in his first season. Like, he might be dreadful. Okay, let's go to January the 1st. Take the season a little bit slower, but we should be a playoff team. And, oh, wow. Charles Raymond has already been injured in the AHL. He would have been in the NHL to start the season, and Layman's also pulled his groin. What the heck is this injury right off the start of the season? 2 guys getting injured in their debuts of the year. Not ideal. And now our other depth forward has been injured in Dodge. What the heck? What's with the injuries right off the start of the year? Layman's already back, which is good. At least it wasn't long term, but... Oh, actually, I guess it was a playable injury. Oh, no, he got thrown in for Dodge, who was injured. Yeah, because Dodge got thrown into the lineup, and he played his first NHL game and got hurt. Which is kind of ridiculous. Richter has been injured. Man, we're getting slapped with the injury bug to start this year, and I'm not really liking that. Because that could definitely derail our season and make us not a playoff team. Eric Wilson was playing second line center. Not necessarily where I would want him to be in, but it is what it is. So I'll get Richter into the lineup here. Oh yeah, we wanted 2 depth forwards instead of 2 depth defenders. Raymond already is popping in, which is good. We'll probably call up Kozlov then and send down one of the depth defenders we just signed, I guess. Yeah, let me just do that quickly because I don't want to have a defender playing second line center again. Richter was already in the lineup. Let me just stop the sim here. We're 4-3 in our first 7 games, which is not ideal. Wilm has 9 points already, 6 goals in 7 games. Mauricio definitely looking for another good year. Looks like he dropped down to a 94. Oh no, that's not great. So we will send down... who would I rather send down, Wilson or McLaren? Wilson had a goal in his only game. I guess we'll send down McLaren. I don't really give a crap who I send down as long as we get ourselves that other depth forward up here. So Kozlov will come up. And yeah, then just that's all good. Nobody got claimed on waivers. That is good. Let's continue simulating. But right now, Mauricio looks like he's going to be a man on a mission this season, which is kind of nice. He's usually man on a mission every year anyways, but still. I want him to willpower this team to a cup. That would be a fantastic result to have. Still a little bit inconsistent to start the year, but that's okay. It's better than being completely dominant. Just because obviously if we're too dominant, we're not going to be winning a Stanley Cup likely this season. But also we can't be too bad either. So Sekera's back for the AHL, so I guess they don't have any depth forwards down there in the minors, but that's okay. Should have probably seen if there's any other former players to bring back, but it is what it is. Hopefully that top line in the AHL is killing it with Boucher and with Raymond. Both those guys could be in the NHL as early as next season, which is exciting. Hey, we're playing pretty good hockey here as of the last few games, scoring a lot of goals, which is awesome to see. And let's see, 1 more month to go still before we actually take a look and see where we're sitting standings wise. Yeah, we're playing much better as of the last little while. We're almost up to 20-10. Almost there, and 19-11-2. Okay, a little bit of a couple losses, but like I said, we're not dominating too much to the point where we're going to be early exit for sure. 21-13-2 at January the 1st. That's pretty good. We are in a wild card spot. The last wildcard team has 39 points at the moment, it looks like. Yep. So we're in a decent spot. The good thing is we can still leapfrog the Sabres and the Panthers as well. We do have a game in hand on the Panthers, so we're in a pretty good position at January the 1st. And currently, Mauricio Wilm is at 33 goals in 36 games and 55 points. There's a realistic chance that Mauricio has his best goal scoring season this year if he continues on this pace, which is insane. So even with some new line mates next to him, without Ahinen and the Layman, those type of guys, he's still doing really well. Let's just continue assimilating. Might as well. Let's go a month at a time though, just in case we randomly fall off. But so far, so good, which is nice. But obviously, like I said, playoffs is the main thing that we need to worry about with this team. Like, I am still very scared to see what ends up happening with our team in the playoffs once we get to that point. Because we should be a playoff team unless we lose 10 straight games, which we lost 3 straight there, which is not ideal. But then again, like I said, it makes us more look like an average team. And then when we get into the playoffs, maybe we'll just completely turn it on. So it was Cracknell that needed to come out. He's already 26 years old anyways. But yeah, we have way too much like NHL ready defensemen down there in a sense. Like, they're not playing where they should be. That's okay. It's good that we brought back Vlasic again, but he's also on an expiring deal. Maddox Boys has been injured with back spasms. Well, that's not great. That's a pretty big blow to the defensive core a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be back within a week, which is nice. So at least it wasn't super long term. And Del Rivera's jumped up to a 91, so he must be having a very good season statistically. Wilson does not fit that top pairing that well at all, which is not great, but that's okay. Looks like the defensive core is doing pretty good in terms of getting some bump up overall wise. And at February the 1st, we're going to be 29, 18, and 2. We are in the 3rd spot now in the Atlantic. The wildcard's on 59 and on 50 points, so we're in a pretty good position as long as we just continue to win games, which is nice. And it looks like we're going to continue doing that. We're definitely scoring a lot of goals this season based on like these last few games. Of course, as I said that though, we lost by a score of 5-1. But mostly every game that we're winning, we're scoring like 5 goals a game. So that is a very good sign for the scoring of Mauricio, Wilm, and this team in general. 9-2 win over Dallas there. 7-2 win there. 6-1 win there. And 6-0 win right there. So yeah, the offense is killing it right now. I don't know how the defensive play is, but we're currently 2nd now in the Atlantic with 82 points. Wildcard's on 77 and 68. Damn, man. The Metropolitan Division is really weak. Like, we would be tied for 2nd still in the Metro if we were in that. But, like, a wildcard being on 68 points is kind of crazy. Yeah, we're definitely in a really good spot right now. We're just going to continue to simulate. And, yeah, I'm really hoping that our defensive play is pretty good. Because, obviously, our offense has been good. But there's been some games where we've lost badly, it looks like, too. So hopefully the goaltenders could do much better this playoff run. Okay, so 40, 21, and 2. Let's go to the 31st. See how we do in the month of March. I don't think Picard was ever injured, so I'm just going to continue simulating. 8-1 win there over Carolina. Jeez, Sidu just got spanked by his old team. Bear White has been injured with a sore foot. Okay. Yeah, we're completely dominating at this point, so that's not good. We might be simulating too good. And Kolesnik has gone down, so that might actually hurt us defensively quite a bit. Mild concussion. We'll take him out of the lineup, but he will be back relatively soon, I think. But that's still one of our top defenders going down with an injury. So Bear White back into the lineup. Yep, that's good. Yeah, see, Boucher and Raymond both should be NHL bound next season, which is pretty exciting. Obviously, we're going to have to think about who we want to be letting go of this offseason. No, I think Weber and Vlasic could potentially both leave the team, depending on what ends up happening with our playoff stats and all that. But we might be simulating way too good at this rate. Broken nose for Hudson Burish. That's not great. Let's just go replace player for now. That will make us drop a few games. Kolesnik is back. I think he was already thrown probably in the lineup for that last injury, I guess. No, Kozlov was. Okay. So we'll take Wilson out for Kolesnik. And Wilson will get in where Kozlov is. But Wilson looks like he's dropping due to morale. Because he doesn't like being scratched. But the thing is, like, that's the only place he's going to be able to play in on this team. Like, he's got to not complain because he was a free agent at the start of the season. Like, he would have not got a contract if it wasn't for us. But we're 50, 24, and 2 at the 31st. We're 2nd place. We've already clinched a playoff spot in the Atlantic. We're still 14 points back at the Habs, so the Habs are just killing it this year. But we are one of the best teams in the NHL at this rate, which is not great, potentially, for our playoff success. As we beat Vegas 8-2. Jeez, yeah, our offense is insane this year. Like, I bet you the depth scoring is pretty nuts right now. Merrick Vlasic has sprained his ankle. Well, that's going to hurt our offense quite a bit for these last remaining games, but it looks like he should be back relatively soon. I don't know if he's going to be back for the start of the playoffs, actually. We are still winning games without him. Last game of the season, as a 6-0 win. So 54, 25, and 3. We need to get the AIs to finish their sim as well. The Canadians won our division with 124 points. Jeez. We were like the 5th best team in the league, I think, which is kind of nuts. Okay, player stats. And exactly what I was thinking when I saw Mauricio Williams' stats at the beginning of the season. 66 goals, which I believe is a career high for Mauricio. 130 points. I think this guy might have won an Art Ross, which is awesome because we've never had an Art Ross winner yet, I think. Holy crap, Mauricio. Yeah, that's insanity. Insanity. We got to take a look at those plus minuses and all that stuff. But what a year for this team. But now, obviously, we need to translate it into playoff success. We finished as the 5th best team behind the Rangers, the Kraken, the Penguins, and the Canadians. Goals for per game. We're probably one of the best offensive teams, right? Yep. The best offensive team in the NHL, just above the Kraken. Only 2 teams to score more than 4 goals. Goals against per game wise, we were the best defensive team. So we were the best offensive and the best defensive team, but we didn't even finish number 1. We finished 5th. That's kind of weird. Power play percentage was number 4. Pretty good. And penalty kill percentage was number 1. So we were great in every single area, which makes me feel like we're going to be a first round exit for sure. We had 9 short-handed goals, 26-15-0 on home ice, and 28-10-3 on the road. Dominant season from this team. I'm surprised we were the best defensive team after letting go of Sea-Doo. That's a massive shock to me. Holy crap, man. The point production on that top line. We might have found ourselves a great top line. We'll know on the 130 points we saw, plus 61. 15 power play goals. That's another season over 100 points for Mauricio. And, yeah, he is potentially going to hit 2,000 career points if he continues to play for quite a while. But that's definitely his best goal total in 12 years. His best point production season in like that round of years as well. And over the last 3 years, despite being old and on the wrong side of 30, he's had like dominant seasons. What a year for Mauricio. We'll see what he can do in the playoffs, but this guy continues to amaze. Ahinen on 69 points is pretty solid considering he was getting 3rd line in power play, so I'll take that from Ahinen. A better season, I think, than last year. Ricardo Richter only on 18 goals and 42 points. That's interesting. His production dropped off a little bit. But at least he was a plus 16. Like, his plus minus improved at least. But, Hartman on 31 points in his rookie season is not too bad either. Kozlov as a depth option was really solid, actually. 4 points and plus 6 in 5 games. Nothing from Dodge. Left wing wise, 118 points from Mara Classic in 78 games. He is a pending free agent. He's going to want to get paid even more money than we just gave him. But if I could lock him up on a 1-year deal, that might be something we do. But there is a bigger chance this offseason that he might leave the team. 68 points from Habscheid's really good as well. 66 from Hamel-Leinen. 55 from Weber. 53 only from Lehman. Lehman is a massive overpayment right now, which is not great. His production has dropped off a lot. Like, either he's getting close to retirement or he just can't score anymore. Hagen on 36 points is pretty good. Del Rivera, though, had 116 points. That's why I gave him that extension before the start of the season, because or else we would have likely lost Del Rivera and Vlasic this offseason. But it might be just Vlasic that leaves this team. But a great year for Maurice Del Rivera, his best of his career. Love to see it. Sergeyev on 32 points, not bad. So in terms of the offensive scoring, really like our depth scoring for sure. Nobody was below 31 points, which is awesome. And nobody on the offensive core was -2. From a defensive standpoint, what we got? Boys on 26 points only. Expected a bit more from him, but plus 46 is great. Booz on 20 points, plus 29. Burrish on 18 points, plus 36. Hartnell on 17 points only, but plus 31 in his rookie season. Kolesnik only 15 points. And he's dropped down to an exact top 4. There's a realistic chance Kolesnik retires by 35 or 36. Which means we need to win a cup right now. Plus 42 though. Paco 15 points plus 36. Wilson had 2 goals in 12 games plus 5. So, yeah, the plus minuses, the goaltending, the defense, all very good. Burkov might have won himself a Vezina at the end of his ELC. And he's going to want to get paid a lot of money this offseason, I think, as well. So he could be potentially gone. A 914 save percentage, though, 6 shutouts. And then you had Bodens, who was decent, but not the greatest. No assists this year from our goalies. So there is that. Let's take a look at stats around the league. But I feel like we're going to be a first-round exit, and then our team's going to fall apart completely in the offseason. But if this is the year, that would be amazing. And Mauricio Wilm is going to win at Art Ross in 2040. You'll love to see it. Led the league in points with 130 points, but he did not lead in goals. It looks like it's going to be Afanaganov. Yep, Afanaganov just edges him out with 67 goals. So unfortunately, will not get the Richard this year, but he does get an Art Ross, which is amazing. Let's take a look at Selke candidates and stuff like that. Hey, Mauricio could be up there for a Selke too, which would be kind of crazy because when's the last time an Art Ross winner also won the Selke? I don't know if he will, though, because of the takeaway number. Yeah, I don't think the takeaway number is going to be in his favor much. But Tanner Howe's likely up there for the Selke. Probably Koskinen would win it again because of the 56% in the takeaways. Yeah, it's probably going to be Koskinen instead. Most fights, probably Tom's. Salo this time. Okay, Vesa Salo, 24 fights. Carlton and Tom's. Okay. Let's take a look at best defenseman for points. Who was that this year? It was Brent Clark on 80 points. You had Whitmore on 72. Axel Sandin Pelican on 70. Zellweger, etc. Best goaltender this season, 4 wins, was Burkov by 2. Most shutouts by a starter was Burkov. Best save percentage by a starter was a couple of guys here that had 9, 15, and 16, but will they give it to Burkov because he played a few more games and had more wins? There's a chance. And goals against per game, it's Burkov. Yeah, I think Burkov might win a Vezina here, which is crazy, but he's probably going to be a first-round exit. Watch. No goalie goals this season, and most assists, Tony Pilstrom with 4. Or Pilstrom. The most points by a rookie, Lucas Hillman in Florida, who's 24 years old. Ray Cordell also up there for Florida. So Florida is getting better and better, it looks like, which is not great. Okay, that's good. Did our AHL team make the playoffs? Out of curiosity. Let me take a look at Burnaby's stats. Let me just go to us first, and we'll go down to Burnaby. Let's see. Yeah, Burnaby could be a playoff team based on these point productions. Bernard Boucher is definitely close to being NHL already. And then you have Raymond. Yeah, these two guys definitely should jump into our lineup. Sheroff had a good year in the AHL. Even though he is dropping off and likely to retire soon. Just kind of scary. Michelli had a pretty solid year. Yeah, I think the AHL team must have made it to the playoffs as well. I got to double check on that first. It looks like they did. Yes, they did. Nice. Okay, so we got 2 playoff teams this year. Love to see it. Now the question is, who are we going to be playing in round 1? And are we going to get cheesed because we were a great offense and defensive team? It's going to be the Florida Panthers. Oh boy. They just had 2 guys up there for Rookie of the Year potentially. And Lassick will be back for game number 1, which is awesome. So we will have our top line reunited for the start of the playoffs. But still, I am a bit scared. A bit scared. Because Florida is just getting much better every single year as well. Like, they're no slouch of a team. They had 53 wins this year actually too. So this is a heavyweight first round matchup. If we get out of this first round, we might have an easier time in every other round, but it's going to be a very tough matchup. Both teams very high in points. Let's take a look at what they did compared to us, I guess. So they finished just below us by 3 points. They could easily be a cup contender. They scored a lot of goals, not as much as us. They were a good-ish defensive team. Actually, maybe not as good of a defensive team, really. But still, their power play was not great, and their penalty kill wasn't either. But they're still a really good team with over 50 wins, so we cannot say that they're a bad team at all. Let's take a look at that roster. We played them last year, didn't we? Wasn't it last year that we took them out in like 5 games? I feel like it was. Let's see. Florida. What are you looking like? Oh, yeah. Oh, the Cesar Gamache team. Yeah. So Damon Peterson, 21 years of age, really good player. Michael Porter there at 32. And yes, Cesar Gamache, how did he do this season? 52 goals. Not as good as last year for him, but still, this guy's a great goal scorer. And once again, we have to contain him. Second line, Ernesto McDonald, Brad Lambert, and Earl Lindsey. Third line, Edward Sale, Lucas Hillman, who almost won Rookie of the Year, and Ray Courtnall, who almost won Rookie of the Year. So one of these guys going to win the Calder. Fourth line, Luke Misa, Anton Lundell, who's still dropping off, and Vesasalo, who fights a lot of players. So they have a little bit of an edge in physicality as well. Defensively, Chris Whitmore, Joseph Commodore, really good top pairing still. Angelo Lindsay, Nicholas Percy, Emmanuel Dodge, and Calvin Gibson. Goaltending-wise, Gabriel Deg is still there, up to an 88 overall now at 33. And Spencer Knight, there at 38 years old, is their backup. He has returned after a few years in Tampa and Boston. Interesting, okay. Depth-wise, they have Jacobson, they have Vickers, and they also have Austin. Yeah, this is a good-looking Florida team. I mean, they don't have the best depth on paper, but they did win a lot of games, which makes me a bit skeptical that we might lose in the first round because our team over-simulated. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take the round 1 against the Florida Panthers. It'll be another pre-recorded episode, and we'll see if we're able to get out of that first round, and hopefully, if we do get out of that first round, we have an easier time with the second round, and we can actually get to a conference finals or a cup finals this year. Because, like I said, I think we're going to start suffering guys that retire, like Kolsnik, for example. We're also going to start getting that drop-off from guys like Lehman. So we are kind of having our window slowly close in front of our eyes, and this is a year that we need to take advantage of how good our team was. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.